Hello, everyone. It's Fred Staab and Les Jackson. We are bringing you a great edition of Cruise Control. There is a lot going on in this show, Les, isn't it?
Well, there is. It's been a busy week for both of us,
Oh, yeah.
and we've been playing with some toys.
We have. We're going to tell you about it. And
Yep,
we have a special guest, Harlan Charles, who is product manager for Corvette and Camaro, actually. He doesn't
yep.
sometimes mention that, but we've got a lot of interest in his interview. That will be coming up about 10:30. And we will be bringing you try to get to some of your questions. There's been some great questions that people have sent to us on Facebook and other social media outlets for cruise control. So we will try to get to as many of those as possible. We're also going to
hmm
talk about, well, that is the fifth generation V8 from Chevy and GM, but there's going to be a sixth generation. A lot of people would say, wow, that's a surprise. I thought they were going all electric. They're going to be spending billions on a new V8
Yep,
less. So
yeah.
we will talk about that. I wonder, some have said that the C9 Corvette will get a V8. So, and there's also
Oh,
talk
I
the
think so.
C8 will get an
I think
upgraded
so.
V8. So maybe this is the one. What do you think?
I think it'll be your choice of
Okay.
electric or non-electric.
All right.
Uh,
Sounds good.
and over at Porsche, they set a record for a number of vehicles delivered last year. That's impressive.
Yeah, very big and impressive
Yeah.
year for Porsche, so we'll talk about that. Got a lot going on too. An all-terrain tire for supercars, and you might be saying, "Well, you're talking about a supercar that's got all-wheel drive now with the
Yeah.
Chevy E-Ray." But we'll tell you a little bit about that, and then of course we'll get to the main event. And I have to say, this is some of the best footage I've seen of the E-Ray. The guy flies
That's
the drone
that's
right
nice
through a
looking.
tower,
Yeah.
and you'll see that right through an electric tower, which is a pretty cool feat. But um, a lot of interest in this vehicle. All-wheel drive. You get 160 extra horsepower over the base Stingray, and we can't wait to talk to Harlan Charles about it. As I say, that's coming up at about 10:30. This is the move I love. Wow, right through the
Oh,
tower.
that's really neat. I hope that was a drone
um,
and not a helicopter.
yeah.
And I got up close and personal with the E-Ray on Thursday.
What did you think? You were at the Washington D.C.
I,
Auto Show, right?
I met the Chevy PR guy there, and just there were only about eight of us. This is before the DC show actually opens, which is yesterday. And I opened the frunk. It's a regular frunk.
Oh, wow. So there's
Uh,
no
I
big loss of space?
I would have bet money
That
that
it
there
would have been
wasn't.
like an inch deep?
It's a regular front.
Wow.
They packed a lot of stuff underneath in the front, and it's just so well executed. I just can't wait to drive it.
Yeah, you think about this. We're going to talk to Harlan about this. It is kind of the replacement for the Grand Sport. It slots in between
Yeah.
the Stingray and the Z06. But in previous years, the Grand Sport kind of got the look. It got the wide
hmm
body kit from the Z06, but it didn't get extra power. It stayed with the standard engine. Here, you're getting 160 horsepower. Someone said it online. A lot of guys are supercharging older Corvettes. It's something I thought about doing. There, you pick up 200, maybe or more
That's right.
horsepower when you do it. This is sort of like a supercharged Stingray, but
But it's
all-wheel
a
drive.
supercharged shot from a slingshot
That's
because
right.
it's electric
It's
power,
electric and
and it's
all-wheel drive.
all-wheel drive. This thing, it is the fastest Corvette they've ever built
Yeah,
by I think something like 1 second.
it will do a
It's
quarter mile,
yeah,
10.50. So, uh, 990
yeah,
is super gas. 1090 is, I'm
mm,
sorry, 990 is super comp. 1090 is the dial in on a super gas car, which is a fast car in drag racing world.
yep.
This one's street legal. You can drive it to the
Right,
track,
right out of the showroom.
do
Just
that, and then
take
drive
it out,
home with your
stand
heated
on it.
seats on. Yeah.
Get your wallet ready for the tickets you're going to get.
Oh yeah, yeah. I would say keep it on the track. But hey, it's all coming up. We're gonna have our open coming up to the show, so stay tuned to Cruise Control. We are just getting started. It's Fred Staab and Les Jackson. We will be right back with the live show. So keep it buckled up.
This is Cruise Control. Your on-air automotive magazine with co-hosts Fred Staab and Les Jackson. Everything you need to know about new and used cars. Industry news. We'll fix or repair your car on the air. Fasten your seatbelts and let us take the wheel. Now, your ride is about to begin. Because you're on Cruise Control. Cruise Control. Cruise Control.
That's right. It is about to begin. It's already started. Welcome to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. I'm Fred Staab, and along with me is Les Jackson.
That's me.
Who tried to take an E-Ray from the Washington, D.C. auto show,
yeah.
but got caught.
It's actually illegal.
It is. It would have been good for the show, though. You could have kind of gave us a live feed of it.
Yeah, it would have been great for the evening news, but I would be broadcasting from the Gray Bar Hotel.
That's right. That's right. Well, let's jump into it because we're going to get to the Chevy E-Ray in just a little bit, but we're starting with this story. GM says it's going all electric, but meanwhile, there are big plans for the 6th generation Chevy V8. And the General is not sparing the money when it comes to development, Les.
Yeah, but of course that engine is for everything, almost everything they make, like they did the last generation.
Absolutely.
And brilliant piece of engineering. So the new one is just going to be
super
beyond what we can imagine. And speaking of sort of beyond what we can imagine, Porsche has set a record. Greatest number of vehicles delivered last year. And that was a tough year.
That was a tough year, and they did a great job with their sales. We'll talk a little bit about that. And talking tech, something you didn't know you need, but you're going to get. How about an all-terrain tire for a supercar?
Well, that's great, but I'm only missing the supercar.
All right.
So, but speaking of supercars,
good segue.
We're going to speak a lot about it later in the show because Harlan Charles himself, Corvette product manager, we've been friends with him for many, many years. The E-Ray was revealed actually Thursday. We got it was on TV all over the country, but of course we actually got to see it in person for Media Day for the DC Auto Show, and I am really impressed. This thing, you just want it.
Yeah, you wonder, the engineering that goes into it, and as we say, it's 160 horsepower over the Stingray, and all-wheel drive, a lot of features in there. Really exciting, and I can't wait to ask Harlan about it. We've got some of your questions that you've put in on our Cruise Control Facebook page,
right.
So we'll try to get to as much of that as possible. Harlan's coming up a little bit later in the show, but when we come back, can you believe it? 6 generations of the Chevy small block, and it just gets better and better and better. We'll tell you what's coming up when we come back on Cruise Control.
Yeah, I
Cruise Control.
And welcome back to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. It's us. I'm Les. He's Fred.
Yep.
And we're going to be talking quite a bit about General Motors.
Yeah, we got Harlan Charles coming up.
That's
bit
right.
In the show.
But right now, we're going to talk about their new generation small block. It was about, 24 years ago that they came out with the existing generation. Great engine. And now they've invested, $1 billion or $2 billion. Yeah, it's pretty soon they're talking about real money into developing a new small block because they're going to continue powering vehicles with them for the foreseeable future.
Yeah. It's an interesting story because all you hear from GM is we're going completely electric. Electric. Remember, each generation, now what you alluded to was the LS engine, but there's been multiple LS2, LS3, all the way, LS7, it's just gone all the way up there.
Yep.
So typically a generation of the small block lasts about 8 years. They're putting this in now, so you think about that. There's another, basically a decade of V8. Will we see it in the Corvette? I think we will. I think there will be a C9.
I think we will, and I think it'll be a smaller engine because it can develop so much power for size and weight.
Yeah. Well, think about it. It's pretty common now to have a Turbo 4 put out in the low 300s.
Yeah.
And imagine what you can do with, let's say, a 3-liter V8 or a 3.5-liter V8. You could be putting 600 horsepower out, right?
Absolutely. So they're really gearing up. The Flint engine operation is going to get almost $600 million to set up the plant.
Yep.
Right away.
Yep.
And then another 200 million is going to Bay City to build camshafts.
Yep.
Connecting rods, blocks. We got to go back to an engine plant.
I mean, the LS engine is great. It's not a pretty engine, but it gets it done. Those coil packs on there, I never thought that was a great look, but hey, it doesn't matter. It's doing its thing, and you can get crate motors, you can get all kinds of things.
Yep.
But it's great to see that the sound of a V8 won't be going away, and you think about that. Just use your future goggles, Les. It will be a small displacement V8, probably with electric motors, and the thing will be awesome.
Yeah, it could end up being a 2-liter V8, 2.5-liter.
Yeah.
Pumping out 600
It's the Renwall see-through V8.
Yeah.
Remember that? I had one of those.
That's right. Yeah. I was thinking of the old cartoon, the Belchfire V8.
The Belchfire V8, yeah.
Which these do,
It's gonna be pretty cool. It's gonna be pretty cool.
There probably aren't as many gearheads around as there used to be, but the fact is, for those of us who are, this is cool stuff.
Yeah, absolutely cool stuff, and it's good to see that the V8 will continue on. The other interesting story here that we want to get to is Porsche. Now, Porsche, you would think with the tough years we've had lately with COVID, of course, and then with the chip shortage, you would think they would not be able to deliver a lot of Porsches. But actually, global demand for luxury cars increased significantly in 2022, and Porsche has delivered a record-breaking over 70,000 cars just in the United States alone. That's pretty crazy, isn't it?
That is amazing.
Yeah. And the 911 was its third best-selling model. And those don't come cheap, do they?
Yes. I mean, well, it's the Macan and the Cayenne and the Panamera that really, that's what you see on the streets.
Yeah. Well, they're a little bit more usable than the 911 and that, but big year for them. globally, they delivered 309,884 cars in 2022. That's up from 301,915 in 2021.
Good, good for them.
Good for them. Yeah, a lot of Porsches going out to their new owners, and I'm sure they're happy about that. Pretty cool stuff. You're listening to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. Don't forget to check us out. We are here every week at this time. We always appreciate you sending in your comments on our Facebook page or our other social media outlets, so check it out. I'm Fred Staab. He is Les Jackson. When we come back, we're going to talk a little tech about high-performance off-road tires for supercars, something you didn't know you needed, but you're going to get.
Didn't know.
And then Harlan Charles, who will be coming up.
Some of the
Cruise Control.
Welcome back to Cruise Control. It's Talking Tech time, and we love to do that. And we teased earlier in the show that there's now an all-terrain run-flat tire for supercars. So if you have what do you think, Fred? A Lamborghini, no. How about the new Ferrari Persange?
Yeah, I think you need a set of those real choppy mud tires for that.
That's only $400,000, by the way. So Bridgestone has developed a new tire, the all-terrain AT002, if you're taking notes and buying any. It's an all-terrain variant for run flat, which, by the way, I think is a great idea for an all-terrain tire.
Yeah, it is. I mean, obviously, run flats have been around for a while. Corvette was one of them to use it, and they're a little heavier, but you don't have to carry a spare, and you've got one on there already if you get it flat. These are good for. I guess they're good for up to 50 miles an hour, something like that.
Right. Well, they'll run for 50 miles at 50 miles an hour.
That's pretty good.
At zero pressure.
Do you know where these things came from? They came from, originally they were on presidential limousines.
Yeah.
That the tires could be shut out and then they could just get out of there.
They were secret for a number of years.
Yeah, and now you can buy them yourself.
Now, yes, you can't buy the presidential limousine.
No, you can't. They destroy the old ones. They used to not do that, but now they do.
Well, again, there's technology in these things that they don't want people to know about.
Yes. By the way, those new tires, the Huracan Storado, will come with a Bridgestone Dueler all-terrain AT002 tire. That's for the Lamborghini, the Lamborghini that you've ordered for off-roading.
Yes. Now we don't have the price of a set of these tires, but you can bet it's a lot of money. Just remember that a set of tires for a Bugatti Veyron was $17,000.
Yeah, exactly. So you kind of
so you can. What do you think? 10, 12, 14,000?
I don't know. That hurts me to think about spending $10,000 for a set of tires.
I would rather have a Toyota Tercel.
Boy. Well, I have to say, I am jealous of you. You got to look at the E-Ray this week.
I sure did.
And
went all over it.
And it is a beautiful vehicle. Some cool colors. I really think that some of the colors are going to be really, really cool. Going to surprise people. There's also a dipped interior. I don't know. Did yours have that? It was sort of a green interior. It's going to be 1 year only.
Yeah, because this was that green outside color.
That's neat.
Which is a beautiful color. I really like it.
Yeah.
And again, I was mentioning briefly that we figured with the electric motor and all the batteries and stuff, there won't be any frunk.
That was my biggest question. I was going to ask Harlan, who will be coming up. He's actually with us right now. If he wants to come in before the break,
there he is.
But that was my biggest question: is the frunk gone, or is it functional? A functional frunk?
It appeared to be a normal frunk.
Fully functional.
Fully functional. Yeah. There you go. Hey, Harlan.
Well, that's you would know, wouldn't you, Harlan? No, I was. I really enjoyed it. It sat there, and I kept being drawn to it. Like you are to a really nice dish of ice cream occasionally, where you just have to have it. And I just thought, man, this thing is a great idea. Plus, it's beautifully executed. You guys outdid yourselves.
Yeah, a lot of great engineering. It really is. And Harlan, of course, is going to be back with us after the break. We got a couple of minutes before the break, though. This has been in development for a while, Harlan. I mean, I guess the C8 was designed for it when it was first built, right?
Yeah, well, one of the advantages, I mean, of course, we wanted to do the mid-engine Corvette for a long time. And one of the advantages we saw to it would enable a car like this to be possible. Plus, with our center structure, our torque tube, we used to call it, now it's an empty tube. We were able to fill that up with batteries for this application.
Yeah.
So
what that reminded me of was the EV1.
With the center tunnel with batteries in it.
That was 26 lead acid batteries in the center box. I like that.
Yeah, didn't go with the lead acid batteries this time. No. I'm just shocked at the quarter mile times, Harlan. I mean, this thing it's like a super gas car. It's actually faster than a super gas car in the drag racing world.
Yeah, that's the advantage, with the all-wheel drive, and then with the electric motor up front, it's full torque right away. So it makes this thing launch, where you feel like your stomach's a block behind you, when you go. So 0 to 60 in 2.5, it's the fastest accelerating Corvette ever from 0 to 60 as well.
Now, did you ever think you'd be building an all-wheel drive Corvette, and those guys that take the Silverado body off and mount a C3 on top of the chassis, that doesn't count as an all-wheel drive. But did you ever think you'd build an all-wheel drive Corvette in your career?
Well, yeah, that was always kind of a dream. If you remember, Zora Arcostonov created the first all-wheel drive mid-engine concept Corvette, the Serv 2, back in 1964. So it took us a while, but we made it. We finally have an all-wheel drive mid-engine Corvette, and the funny thing is that was an incredible 2.8 second 0 to 60 car back then, and in the street production car we're able to beat that with this one. So we've come a long way.
And that's tire technology of that era.
Right.
Imagine what that would do with today's tire technology. So, man,
pretty neat stuff.
Well, we need to steal the keys. By the way, Harlan, is that your garage?
It's a nice.
Yeah, I spent I kind of spruced it up a little bit for you guys today.
It's got a nice lineage right there. You can't get older or newer, so that's perfect.
Well, that was January 17th, that picture, and that's the anniversary, 70 years from the introduction of the first Corvette, Motorama in New York. we have the E-Ray, now the Corvette E-Ray being introduced the same day, 70 years later. Oh, look at you. You got the video going. That's awesome.
I love the test bicycle wheel was on the back of that first shot there, just kind of.
You notice his head is above the windshield.
Yeah, that would be a problem. That would be a problem today, but pretty cool. Very cool. I remember the announcer said in that one of the videos, "Man, what a car!" I also like the poverty hubcaps on that one. That's pretty cool. But we've got plenty of pictures of the new E-Ray actually up on our website, so you want to check those out, and up on our Facebook page at Cruise Control Radio. So you want to check that out. Harlan, we're just getting started with you, so we've got a lot of questions from people that have sent it in, and just want to talk a little bit about the development of the vehicle. We're going to take a break here, and I hope people will stick with us, because I tell you what, we're just getting into it. It's an exciting time. I think it's been mostly positive, although some people are a little, I don't know, shocked. But I think this way, if you can get 160 horsepower and all-wheel drive and really not give anything up, it's a pretty good deal. But we're going to take that conversation when we come back on Cruise Control. I'm Fred Staab. The other guy's Les Jackson, and this guy is Harlan Charles. We will be right back. Welcome back to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. We had none other than Harlan Charles, and people have been getting up around the world to listen to you, Harlan.
That's great. Good morning, everybody.
All right, and we dialed in Harlan's audio a little bit better for you all, so that's great. Well, we talked about a little bit about where the batteries go in this vehicle, and Les answered the one of the many questions I wanted to ask you about, the frunk in the front of the E-Ray. Now, of course, there's an electric motor and some other stuff that has to go into the E-Ray to make it work, but that does not really impact the frunk, does it?
Yeah, that's correct. You still maintain the two trunks that make the Corvette a great road trip car. And because the electric motor is so compact, it actually packages rearward of where the trunk space would be. So it's kind of space that you wouldn't use anyway. So it's great.
No compromise, Les.
I can't hear her.
Okay. Well, no compromise there, Les. And, it's, I think some people were a little bit, they had to scratch their heads, like, why are you building a hybrid Corvette? But a lot of people should realize hybrids are great performers. They are great, just great vehicles all the way around. And I think some people were surprised. But I think once they drive it, they're going to be really happy. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, we wanted to, electrification's the future. And, talking to sports car customers, this is really the best of both worlds. You get to keep the legendary small block V8 that we all know and love for Corvette, the sounds and everything that people love. And we added this electric motor for all-wheel drive that powers the front. And you really get a lot of the benefits. We talked about the acceleration. We talk about the handling and the way it can be a canyon carver and cut through the corners, and you get that added torque fill as you're driving, as well as the all-wheel drive capability that makes it a all-year-round car. And you don't have to plug it in. You don't have to worry about finding charging stations or anything like that. It's just, you can just fill it up like you normally do with Corvettes and enjoy all the benefits.
Yeah, good stuff, good stuff. And you have a couple of unique things going on with the colors. I know you've kind of gone away from the red, black, white, blue. You've gotten a little bit more creative with the color palettes. One of them, I believe, comes from none other than the Chevy Spark. Is that right? It's the green. I don't know what the name is.
Oh, the cacti green?
Yeah.
It's like a grayish green. It is used in some of the other Chevys. But, it's a different look. We actually have an interior called Artemis that goes with it.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of this greenish gray leather. And, it's something a little different. Again, this car, we think is a good opportunity to get not only the existing Corvette customers, but a new customer. In the past, when you wanted to move up from Stingray, we've had more track-oriented machines. And this is a little bit more towards the luxury GT side. And it really, that's why we've done the body color, as you see in the video. We made all the accents body color. It gives it a more sophisticated, again, more of the, if you look at sports cars, you can have like the Z06, which is, basically a street legal race car that you can drive. And we go this way is more towards the luxury GT side, although very fast. Again, we've talked about it being the quickest Corvette ever and gives you all the performance you want, but it does it in a more sophisticated, refined way, so it makes it a great all-around Corvette for road use, all-weather, driving across the country, things like that.
Back for a moment, Harlan, with the hybridness of the car.
Is that a word?
Well, I just made it up, but what are we, obviously, being a hybrid, it's actually going to be a very fuel-efficient Corvette. They already are fuel-efficient for their power, but now you can brag about some serious mileage.
Yeah, we don't have the EPA testing yet, but there are some mileage advantages, like you said. First of all, even the Stingray gets great fuel economy, but this allows us to extend the active fuel management. That's the fancy word we use for when it goes into four-cylinder mode. When the V8 can now kick into the four-cylinder mode when you're cruising around and stay there longer because you're getting the extra assist from the electric motor. So it helps you save
this
fuel.
is cool.
Yeah, very, very, very cool. And we had one of the questions from the live stream, Harlan, was about what about adaptive cruise control, automatic stop, and other safety features? Will all 2024 Corvettes get these features, including Z06?
Well, we have a few new features that we're introducing with E-Ray that will go on to the other models, like the following distance indicator, hold collision alert, the lane change and lane keep assist monitors, things like that are going to be new for Corvette, and also automatic emergency braking.
Yeah, that I think that will be great, definitely. And then another question, some people said, hey, I've been waiting for my Corvette. Of course, the whole industry has had a rough time with chips and supplies and things like that. They wondered, will adding a new model create problems for their orders or other orders in the future, I guess?
Well, I don't think it's going to create any additional problems. We know, it's an industry-wide thing, really, and it came right in the middle of our Z06 launch. Z06 specifically, with its carbon fiber options, aero packages, and things like that have unique issues with, we're working on improving our carbon fiber supply right now, so we can crank up the Z06 a little bit more this year. So we're just going to have to work through those issues, obviously, but it's everybody be patient. Once everybody gets their car, you're happy, so
And
That's what we're trying to do, get everybody their car as soon as we can. But unfortunately, it's taking longer.
Yeah, and the good thing is, I mean, we're going to do a story next hour on Cruise Control about the whole chip shortage. It's really easing. They had a shot of another manufacturer's, holding area where they were holding vehicles that needed more chips, and it's now empty. There were thousands of vehicles there. It's now empty. So it's freeing up, and it sounds like that will be a good deal for future ordering and that. And I understand some people are even paying MSRP or less for certain vehicles. So it's great for the auto industry. How would you ID an E-Ray if it was going down the road, Harlan? How would it look different than a Stingray?
Oh, well, that's a great question. So first of all, it has the wider track and tire sizes that the Z06 uses, but it has its own unique wheel design. They're exclusive, the 5-spoke wheels. And then also it has the body color is standard, so all the body color accents. But it does have, as opposed to the Z06, the corner exit exhaust because it maintains the small block L22 versus the center exhaust from the Z06. And we do have some cool badging, obviously the E-Ray on the side. And we created a new electric ray logo for the deck. As you know, there's the Stingray, and there is an actual real creature called an electric ray.
Really?
And we shortened it to the E-Ray. But, when I found that out, we were always looking for names and things like that, and if we ever do electrification on Corvette, that would be a great name. So we actually trademarked it back in 2015 in anticipation for if and when this would happen. That's
something that, Les, we talk about a lot to Team Corvette,
Yeah.
how far in advance you have to think about these things for things like this, to get that, settled and squared away for future vehicles. Got another question here about stealth mode, and we've got a little bit of just about a minute before the break. So I'm going to hold that to the next segment of Cruise Control. But certainly, Harlan, we'll need you to explain stealth mode to us. And this question will be about, can it be re-engaged after initial startup, and what's the process? So that's a question from one of our live stream listeners or viewers. When we come back, more with Harlan Charles, more about the E-Ray. We're just getting started on Cruise Control, so stay tuned. And welcome back to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. Harlan Charles, Corvette product manager, is with us. Before the break, we were talking about stealth mode. What is stealth mode? And we had a question about engaging it and re-engaging it. Can it be re-engaged after you get out of the stealth mode, I guess?
Well, stealth mode's really designed just for startup, and it actually is a way you can run for small distances at under 45 miles an hour in electric only, to exit your neighborhood or, go through, residential area at low speeds. And then when you get past a certain either throttle position or need more power, or if the charge starts running down, it fires up the V8. and it goes. So it's only at startup in order to maintain, things like climate control, air conditioning, heat, and things like that once you get going.
And the question was, can it switch back? Can you switch back to it? Like, let's say you left your neighborhood in stealth mode, you went into the regular mode, and then you want to come back quietly. Can you do that?
You could, but you have to kind of reignition, restart.
Okay.
You could do a restart.
Oh, that's...
Yeah, so it's booting up a sequence.
Yeah, that's like reboot it, yeah.
Yeah, like reboot it. Okay.
But still, I can't imagine too many circumstances where you'd really need to or want to re-engage stealth after you're out on the road. You've gone through the quiet area.
Right.
But anyway.
Well, I mean, why? I think many cars are louder when you start them up because they're trying to light off the catalytic converters and that. And the current Stingray, it's a little loud when you start it, and then it kind of lowers down in volume level. So maybe that's what the stealth mode is for, Harlan. What you would be better to talk about. It gets a little noisier when you start it, and then I think it's just to light off the catalytic converters, and then it quiets down.
Yeah, it's funny because some of the engineers who weren't used to working on Corvettes, when they saw this, they go, "Oh, we're sorry, it's kind of hard to keep it, seamless." They wanted like this seamless transition for the electric mode into the, when the engine fires. Were like, "No, we want to hear that Brody engine start, and it's a Corvette. You want to hear that V8, celebrate it." And you actually see it on the gauge cluster. We have like a special cluster for the stealth mode, which shows the speed, and it can monitor it. If you want to stay in there for a little while and not start the engine, you can see where it would start, and then once it starts, it does a transformation back into the traditional Corvette gauges. It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, the thinking on that, I think, is correct. The average Corvette owner wants it to let him or her or the neighbors know it's a Corvette. It's not a VW Beetle.
There's also that cool little shake of a Corvette when it starts, that in a good way, that it's like it comes to life like you've just woken up a sleeping giant, and he's like, "What? You want me to get up?" But
absolutely, it's kind of like the Incredible Hulk. Once this car is kind of mild-mannered, but once it gets angry, it's still a Corvette.
It's still a Corvette. It's still a Corvette.
But it's a sophisticated, a polished, elegant Corvette.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. When will we see this in dealerships? Has that been announced?
We haven't announced the exact timing, but it's a 2024 model, so it'll be out this year.
And this is what I would say would be a pretty available model, right? It's not going to be kind of a constrained model.
Yeah, I mean, all Corvettes, we have, some constraint, obviously, with our one factory and everything. But yeah, the idea is to build to customers' orders. As always, obviously, we're not always successful there, but we do the best we can.
Yeah.
And the good news is we have a lot of demand, obviously.
Yeah. I mean, the whole going to the C8 generation has been huge for the brand, hasn't it?
Oh, yeah. It's really, it's been great because it's really been good for both of our things. We wanted to excite, our longtime loyal customers with the car they've been waiting for. And then the even better thing is we're getting a whole new generation interested in Corvette. And I think the E-Ray will take that even one step further. Now with the technology, the electrification, and sophistication of that, might open up the Corvette to those that wouldn't have considered before, just thinking it's just a street legal race car. Really now, this is a sports car that does a lot of things well.
Yeah. Also, as I said before, there's no compromise on this car as far as with storage or anything like that. And we always say, Harlan, Les and I, that one of the things people say about electric cars or electrified cars is, oh, they must be slow. And it's like, where'd you get that from? You've never driven one, because, yeah, even a standard hybrid version of a vehicle will chirp the tires when you stand on it because it's instant on power. There's no like discussion. It just happens.
Yeah, and the interesting about this car, once people finally get to drive it, is the incredible software integration, because you really have two separate systems. You have the electric motor, with the front wheels. You have our traditional small block V8 that we love, powering the rear wheels, and how they were able to have them feed off each other as kind of a team, to get the torque when you want it, the power when you want it. I mean, that was really the big challenge, is integrating those systems together, and that's what people are really going to love about it.
Is there a difference in the warranty on the E-Ray?
No difference.
I think so, but
in the warranty.
Yeah.
My question to you, Harlan, is I noticed in some of the press material that you actually use the sound of the motor in conjunction with the engine, and to kind of make this little symphony of both an electric motor and the V8. Talk a little bit about that. How are you using that motor sound? Does it have a specific sound when it's in electric-only mode, too? I know you have to, but what is that like?
Yeah, there's actually sort of a signature sound we did for the electric-only that was Corvette-specific, that we wanted to sound kind of cool. But when you're driving, you can maybe subtly hear some of the EV motor, but the V8 really starts to take over when you start getting on it. That you can't fight the small block, and that sound, that signature sound, that's really going to be the dominant one. So if anybody's concerned, it sounds like a Corvette for sure.
Yeah, that's sometimes a concern for people. Less they're like, I don't want my Corvette to be too quiet, right?
Right.
Really, this is a huge development for the vehicle. It's beautiful. I love the blue. What's the name of the blue? The one that's behind you in your garage there?
Oh, yeah, that's the Riptide blue. And we talked about the cacti green. We also have this new Seawolf gray, which is a tri-coat. That's pretty cool. And then our fourth show car we showed was a silver flare car with a new racing stripe we have called Electric Blue. That you see in some of the videos as well.
Yeah, that stripe.
Well, there's the one right there. Yep.
That stripe looks great.
Notice that.
Yeah. The stripe package looks great. It really does.
Somehow, are we going to see something like this at Le Mans? Is that likely?
In racing?
Racing at Le Mans.
I don't know yet, because we're still, in Corvette, we're transitioning to GT3, in the future, with the, also we have GTT Daytona, which is IMSA, which is moving towards that, and we're going to have actually a GT3 race car that you could actually buy yourself and race, so we can get, private teams in racing Corvettes, so that's exciting. And the higher end of Le Mans, they're starting to go to the LMDH, which is, like you said, kind of a hybrid system. So that's kind of the thing we do like about this as well. There is a connection to racing technology, with the adding the electrification. You see that in Formula One as well. So it's not out of touch with, high-end sports cars. You're seeing Ferrari, McLaren coming out with those. But what they've done, which I think we differ, they're V6s, and they were rear drive. We kept our V8 and went all-wheel drive.
Harlan, we appreciate you joining us on Cruise Control. We'll have to have you back, as always. Maybe we'll even make it down to Corvettes at Carlisle. So thanks for being part of Cruise Control, and we'll see you
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
One more question from our viewers and listeners. Someone asked, will there be different spoilers available for the E-Ray and would the Z06 or a Z06-like spoiler be part of or be an option for the E-Ray?
Well, from the factory, you basically get the spoiler. You just have the one that you're seeing. But if you get we call it the ZER package, which has the PS4S, basically the Z06 level tires on it, it'll have the taller wickers to use for the track on there. And then we'll have a carbon accessory spoiler available as well.
How do you keep all these things straight in your head? There's so many of colors and availabilities. Like, yeah, but if you order that, you have to swap out to the. It's what you do.
That's what I do.
Yeah, and you have to decide whether to do it or not.
Right, I know. So it's the you got to balance. Like a lot of people think, oh, it's getting so complicated. But then the same person that complains about being complicated will say, well, why can't I get this with this? Whatever combination we don't have, if somebody figures it out and asks for it. So
yeah,
it's always the balance between having a lot of combinations to get the customers what they want and not being too complex that people can't figure out what they want.
When do you get your driver for you? Because you always, I know you are a one-man promotion machine for the Corvette, and typically you always drive the newest model.
Yeah, we'll probably do our saleable cars, that we call our test manufacturing validation builds later this year, probably late spring into the summer, and so probably around then. But I'm totally enjoying the Z06 I have now.
Can't imagine why.
Yeah, you got to go with the older model. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's right.
I'll have to make do.
Make do.
It's a shame that you have to endure so much hardship.
Yes. What
Take one for the team.
was it like? Did you do any calibration drives where you drove this on snow or ice?
Oh yeah, totally. We went up to Upper Peninsula. We do have an ice track. It's Kinchlow. It used to be an Air Force base up there, and there's a big ice track, and we were doing like stuff I've never done before, especially in a Corvette, where we drifted around a circle of ice and snow, and we were driving it around snowmobile trails. There's actually snowmobiles there, and they saw these Corvettes driving through, and they're like, "Hey, what are you guys doing?" The car's really amazing on surfaces and even inclines where you wouldn't think you could get up there, and even with the new all-season tires that it has, I think it's really going to surprise people how capable this car is at getting around, even in pretty bad weather.
Yeah, pretty cool stuff.
Yeah.
Well, so for our listeners, people want to go, and there's an actual visualizer up, right, for the E-Ray?
Yeah, you go to Corvette.com or Chevrolet.com. There's the visualizer is up. You've been great at showing all the pictures and videos. A lot of those are up there, and you can get on and really design your own E-Ray right now. Pick your colors and options and wheels. We have 4 different aluminum wheels. You can even get the carbon fiber wheel option as well. So, and again, you can have a lot of fun on there. So make sure everybody checks that out.
Well, we haven't done it in the last couple of years, but it would be great to get down to Carlisle. I hope you guys are going. I guess we might not know that yet, but it looks like the E-Ray would be part of the show. It sounds like from what you were saying.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So, good deal. Well, Harlan, we appreciate it, and we'll have to have you back.
All right, great. Thanks as always. It was great to see you too, and hope we'll see you live in Carlisle.
That would be fun.
Yeah, we